League of Legends. What a way to start a video, right? Or essentially, video games. Because the main reason to play video games is to have fun, essentially. To experience that sweet dose of dopamine. To be the outsider seeing the world from the different views of the protagonist or antagonist, depending on what kind of games you play. To feel the rush of competition. To love, to hate, to dictate the actions of the person you are controlling. Personally, I mostly play video games just to have fun. That's why for the longest time I've mostly played single player games or story mode type games. The single goal of just getting to the end of the game was good enough for me. I wasn't the biggest of fans of competitive games, unless they were like Mario Kart, Mario Party, Smash, those type of stuff. The fun, competitive type games. That is, until I started playing League. At first I was deterred by how competitive this game could be, but then once I started getting into it months later when I was actually semi-decent at the game, I could understand why people loved the competitive side of it. The fast action, the number of things you could do within each game, feeling like you completely controlled each champion to its fullest when you understood who they're good against, how to utilize items, when to go in, when to back away, that rushing feeling you would get when intense teamfights would happen, and all of that would restart every single time you start a new game. Again, I'm not the competitive type, but I would play for fun if there were any tournaments around me. And if I lost, I wouldn't get upset, because I just don't have that real competitive drive that other players do. And I guess because of that, whenever things don't go as planned, I am more tolerant to it. Let me explain. I'm sure this could be said about any competitive type game, but League especially is toxic. You'll have people spam pinging you, running it down, typing non-stop, ordering you around, typing unimaginable phrases towards you or your teammates, all because it didn't go exactly point by point their way. And that's where it's gotten to the point where it's almost every single game, or at least most of the games that I play in League, will have at least one person who is like that. And I'm sure for many people it can deter them away from this game with how bad the gaming community can be. And that's not to say that the whole community is toxic. Like in one of my previous videos, I talked about how there are so many artists, voice actors, music video animators, all of them working their damn hardest to create something that they love based on a game that's known all across the world, just to have it slightly tarnished by those in the gaming community who are toxic, and I wish it wasn't like that. I plan on, or at least I hope, on this video not being too long, just my overall thoughts on the gaming side of League as of right now. You will have players who will always want to be the carry, or to be the man or woman in the spotlight, to be the hero of the story, and sometimes they're not. And it's not just the saying that, oh, they have to sit back and let everyone else do the work, but just to realize that not every single game is going to be the same 22-3 pentakill extravaganza. That sometimes it'll be an even game, sometimes you'll be losing at first, but then you'll get the upper hand towards the middle end. No one truly knows how each game is going to be, just like you don't know how each of your teammates are going to be. Sure, there are the stereotypical ones like Draven who will always be toxic, never heal you, the Lee Sin who will pick the Muay Thai Lee Sin, and then when you know when that happens, they're going to be the try-hardiest person you've ever seen. Then there's going to be the Jaxes who are, let's just put him on the back burner for now. Again, these are just stereotypes. It doesn't necessarily mean that every single one who plays these champions are going to be the things you are thinking of. Another thing that I just don't get is the fact that when these events do occur, like someone dies in the first 3 minutes, that someone will just say GG. Like, what do you think that does to everyone else in the game? It just brings down the whole mood, and it makes everyone else think that you're not even gonna try to attempt to beat the game, that you're just gonna lazily go through it, especially if it's ranked. Just play the game. Don't bring everyone else down with your incompetence to enjoy things. I get when you're ranked, everyone's on edge, but there's no reason to add fuel to the flame by being toxic back. I know when I mess up a play. I know when I'm not supposed to go in or when I was supposed to do something else. But it just seems like people like to shoot themselves in the foot, blame others for their misplay, and then shoot everyone else's feet just so they're in the same position as them. Like, why? How? What goes through your head to believe that what you're doing, I guess, is essentially the right thing to you? And I absolutely hate that there's this whole stipulation of don't play League, it's a very toxic community, you won't have fun. And I especially saw this happening when Arcane first came out. I remember seeing people on Twitter who were saying like, if you loved Arcane, don't play League, you're not gonna have a fun time. And I absolutely hate that. I've been playing this game for 6 years and I'm probably gonna be playing it for another 30 or 40. I'm probably gonna be playing it when I'm old and crippled and in the retirement home. however long this game continues to exist, I'm going to be playing it because I enjoy the game. I enjoy the champions. I enjoy the lore that Riot brought to this world. It's super fun to me. I want people who like games like this, or at least have somewhat of an interest of competitive games, or if they've even watched Arcane or seen Riot's music videos, to try this game, because it can be fun. It can be a blast, and I've met some of my bestest friends online because of this game by pure chance. Hell, I've even had games where people were toxic at first, and then later into the game they realized their mistakes and made up for it and apologized. I've had games where people continued to be toxic and we still won, yet it didn't feel satisfying with how much difficulty we had at trying to beat the game. And I've even had games where people were very positive and we still lost. I've even had games where people don't type, where no one literally says a single word. It feels quiet, deafening even in the chaotic team fights. And I'm fine with those types of games. I loved when everyone's quiet. I'm not really a talkative person in League. Whenever something happens, I'm like, hey, can you please stop fighting? You know, it's not really helping the team. And 90% of the time, they either don't listen, continue to fight, and we lose. And all of this feels like a coin flip a lot of the times. Mostly you see people who are toxic, or people whose mentalities aren't on the best states, you know? And it shouldn't feel like a fresh breath of air to finally play with someone who isn't like that. It should never be like that. And I'm glad Riot is taking more strides to at least prevent people who are like that to play with their new chat restriction thing. Although sometimes it feels a bit finicky because they'll say something minimal, get banned, or say something, you know, very bad and they don't even get banned. Which I'm sure they're still touching up on how sensitive the system can be, and I'm fine with them doing that. I'm glad they're at least trying to make this game better for everyone else. I want people to play this game. It isn't meant to be a place of hostility or hatefulness. I mean, those are just my 2 cents with it, and I'm hoping that I won't edit too much into this because it's more of a rant than an organized video like I've been doing the last few times. And I'm thankful if you watch this entire thing. I'm sorry if it's a mess, but you know. And I hope that if you're one of these people I'm describing who are toxic that might watch this, just try to turn a new leaf. It's a video game. Video games are meant to be fun, to enjoy things, to feel like you're the person that you're playing, to feel that rush. They aren't meant to be stressful. They aren't meant to lash out, because that's just you. And I hate that the more I think of this, the more I believe that, you know, I might be in the wrong, that I'm just, you know, overthinking things like this. But if a lot of people are saying that this is a very, very toxic place, especially in the gaming community, then I don't know. There just needs to be more of a, you know, restriction on how people, I guess, lash out or how they use their words. Not saying that it needs to be super strict, but come on. It's a game. I want people to enjoy it. That's just, again, my 2 thoughts. Thank you and have a good day.